All right, all right, all right. There we are. Oh, hold on. Let me get myself. Okay. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Learn Photography with Duck. As always, I am your host, Duck, and this is episode 29. Um, just to let you know, coming up December 7th, which is a Sunday, doing a 3-hour workshop on strobist lighting, which is a lightweight, portable off-camera flash setup, basically a speed light, or you can use like a small AD200, the Godox AD200. Beautiful light if you ever want a more powerful portable battery operated light that can really handle some good stuff outdoors. I really recommend it. But anyway, I'm doing the Strobist workshop with the Art League of New Britain, December 27th. If you're interested, there's still seats available. Go to alnb.org to sign up there. Okay. Anyway, so that's what's coming up. For today, we got some fun stuff for you. I figure we'll do something a little bit interesting. Pretty much take everything that you've learned up to this point and let's put it to practical use. I got something that you can use for your social media. If you want to create a new avatar, for yourself to put on, your Facebook page, this will be it. Okay. What we're going to be doing is creating kind of like a very unique self-portrait where we combine it with like a letter form of you can use whatever you want, but I figure use your initial. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be creating an initial with a little bit self-portrait in a very unique pop out three-dimensional sort of way. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to need, and let me switch over to Lightroom. I've already gone ahead and taken some photos of myself. Obviously, this is going to be a selfie project, something that you can do. Obviously, you're going to be personalizing it for your social media. So find yourself a little corner of your house, preferably something with a fairly blank wall, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be cutting yourself out from your background and just using yourself, your clipped self, as an element with this little project, okay? So what I did is, I just set up against a white background, single light on, as you can see on camera left, just coming down. And what I had in mind, let me switch over to Photoshop. Let's create a new, I'm going to create 2000 by 2000 just for now. Okay. So what I had in mind is, we're going to have a kind of like the letter U for my last name, Unitas. All right. And we're going to make it three-dimensional. Okay. And within this three-dimension, I figure I would have, let me get a different color here. I would have a picture of myself holding my camera. Okay. Kind of breaking out of the frame. All right. So this is the concept. All right. So when you go to recreate this, if you feel like recreating it, what I suggest you do is pay close attention to whatever letter form you're going to be using and figure out what the best view is, because different letters will have different requirements. There's a lot of letters that have, these strong uprights. The letter H, the letter N, the letter M, right? Letter U, like this one. E's, F's, and P's, okay, they have that strong one on the left-hand side with kind of like empty space on the right. So pay close attention to those. Letter A's, they kind of have angles. Letter X has an angle. V's have, the opposite of the A. So you got to figure out, where in relation to this letter form are you going to be positioning yourself, all right? So that way, when you take a selfie, you'll know whether you need to be looking to the left or looking to the right, okay? Or if you need to kind of like lean a little bit in order to kind of cheat a little bit, like for example, anything that has a curve like the letter O, all right, it might be better if you kind of cheat a little bit in order to allow for that the curvature. Letter C, the letter D, things like that, okay? And once you see the actual assembly of this, you'll understand what I mean by being careful about how you initially shoot your self-portrait, okay? And also, what you want to consider is, do you want the three-dimensional look to go to the left or go to the right? That will also dictate whether you're going to be looking to the left or looking to the right when you take your picture, okay? All right. If you're confused now, don't worry. It'll make sense, and I'll point it out later on when we're assembling it, like I said, okay? All right. Let me blank that out. Wait, okay. All right. So, as you can see, I photographed myself in a variety of ways, looking straight to the camera, looking off to the side, all right? And you can see, like, for example, with this one, when you see yourself in a photo, that's when you know you got to go on a diet. All right, I said, okay, well, this is sticking out a little bit too far. So I saw that, and I said, you know what, I might need to, lean in. So this is where I started leaning in a little bit. I figured that'll just kind of get rid of that lower section, and it'll allow me to kind of look like I'm popping out of the letter form a little bit more, okay? So if you can just imagine that, let's see, the letter U, somehow something like this, all right, where I'm kind of popping out, all right? And then something that three-dimensional. So that's my concept. Okay, everybody see that? Fairly simple concept. Okay. All right, so that's the concept I have. So as I am photographing myself, I want to kind of pre-visualize this effect so that as the pictures pop up, I can make sure that I have enough, several choices of assets that I can use for the final project. All right. And, again, looking to the camera, I don't know, I have a stupid look on this mug's face, smiling, then I looked away, then I looked, all right. And then when I thought I had enough, I kind of picked these last two, one looking away and one looking towards. they both are going to convey something slightly different. I kind of like the one where I'm looking at the camera, because obviously when you're looking at the camera, you're engaging with your audience. All right. So if I want to use this, as a social media avatar, I want to connect with my audience. So I think this is the one I'm going to go with. Okay. Everybody follow what I mean? All right. So, as you guys know, I always start and end in Lightroom. So the first thing that I want to do is do a little bit of development here. The exposure looked pretty good, so I didn't really do anything with, my exposure. I did use the adaptive color. All right. As you know, about, I don't know, a little less than a year ago, they introduced this adaptive color. It uses artificial intelligence to analyze your image and kind of, it's not, I guess the best way you can describe it is it applies a preset so that it normalizes it to a good extent. I mean, it does a really, really good job without you having to move sliders to normalize it. Okay. So if you recall way back when, my first step in all the images that I take, the first step is always normalize the image and then apply your creative edits. Well, now with the AI assist, it normalizes it for you, all right, saving you even more ability to manipulate your image with the sliders, okay? So adaptive color, okay? And as you can see, the exposure is really, really good. I added a little bit of presence and texture. I pushed up the vibrance just so I'm pretty pasty. I kind of look a little washed out most of the time in photos. So I gave myself a little bit of color. And that's pretty much it. The other thing I did was I tend to wear a lot of black clothing in the studio just so I don't show up in the work that I'm photographing. So what I did is, instead of having, a very monochrome looking photo, I colorized my shirt to be a little bit more on the blue side rather than the gray side. Okay. And that's just an artistic decision on my part, because I think it would look better in the final image. Okay. So those were my decisions coming into this project. Okay. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open this in Photoshop. So right click, edit in Adobe Photoshop, and it takes me to Photoshop and opens it up. Okay. Now the other thing you'll notice is that I cropped it square because my final project is going to be square. So I figure, I will pre-crop it. Also because it just gets rid of all the extra stuff on the sides that's not needed. All right. If I wanted to, I probably could have cropped it a little bit tighter because, like I said, we're going to be cutting the background out of this altogether. Okay. So the other thing, which I already did, I kind of used it as a whiteboard, is we're going to create our file, our document that we're going to do the final assembly on. Okay. Now I shot my portrait at full resolution to the camera. All right. So it's, 5,000 by 6,000, whatever pixels. All right. We're going to be downscaling it to this document, which is 2,000 by 2,000 pixels. Now, this is still very large for use as an avatar in social media. All right. Most of the time they want, anything about pretty much around 1,000 pixels. And then what they do is they resize it accordingly, and they do their own thing. All right. So 2,000, it's probably overkill, but for me, it's a little easier to play around with 2,000 pixels than 1,000 pixels. Okay. So again, just a personal choice. All right. So it's just a blank document. And of course I gave it a white background, but it could be whatever color, because the next step is we're going to choose a color that we want to apply. And for that, we're just gonna come down here to this little icon that's half circle, half white, half black circle. Click on that, and we're gonna do a solid color adjustment. Okay. And I'm gonna pick, because I colorized my shirt to be blue. I'm gonna keep this kind of like in that blue family, just to keep it kind of like cohesive, right? And I think I'm gonna go for a more dusty blue. All right, that looks like a decent color. All right, hit that okay. So the nice thing about creating a color fill layer is at any time we can just double tap and we can modify our color however we want. Okay, we can change that color anytime. All right. So this is now kind of in preparation. All right. So let's start putting in some elements. I'm going to select my text tool. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap on the screen, and I'm going to use the letter U for Unitas. All right. Letter U for Unitas. Oops. And holding the shift key, we're going to make this larger. Okay. Hit done. And I don't want it red. Just for contrast sakes, I'm going to pick a light color gray. The color at this is arbitrary. All right. Because and it doesn't matter what color you pick, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our photo of our selfie, we're going to be inserting it into this, and we can manipulate it however we want. Okay. All right, so make that a little bit larger. Actually not too large, because we want to kind of have room on, remember, we want room on the left side for our photo to kind of pop out. And we also want room on the right side for that 3D, kind of like a 3D effect. Okay. All right. And we're going to need to pick something a little bit nicer than this. Okay. Because we're going to be implementing an image into this, as you saw my visualization, this section, oops, let's pick a color that'll, this section here, all right, should be wider. Okay. This part here, who cares? It's secondary. It could be thick, it could be thin. It's whatever you want to use as a font. But wherever you're placing your photo, all right, you want that to be fairly large, just to accommodate your selfie. Okay. Hopefully that made sense. Okay. So we're going to go here to our list of fonts. If you don't have anything that you can use here, all right, you can always click on, oops, all right, hold on. Let's go up here. you can always go here where it says more fonts. All right. And that will give you a bunch of additional fonts that are on the Adobe site. So Adobe Cloud allows you to use a ton of fonts free of charge. It comes with your subscription. Just click on it, and what you're going to do is it's going to show up right here as a list, and you can just scroll through until you find something that you like. Oh, see, that one is good because it's got, that fat side on that. Okay. This is what's called a serif font. See those little wings at the very top? I'm not too crazy about that. I want something simple. All right. So I'm probably going to go with something that kind of matches my logo. All right. So where's my font that I use for my logo? Here we go. And we want something that's black, that's bold. Oh, I kind of like the black. All right. It's simple, but what's going to make this unique is the fact that there's a photo popping out of it. Okay. So the font doesn't necessarily need to be fancy, drawing attention to itself. Okay. You can use something plain like this one, or you can use something, your personal choice, salt and pepper to taste. Okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use this one, just because. Okay. So I'm going to bring this over and size this up just a little bit more. Okay. And now we need to plan how we're going to do this. Okay. We're going to need several copies of this. Okay. We're going to need the initial one that we're going to drop our photo into. And then we're going to need a bunch of copies that are going to be used to create the 3D effect. Okay. So we're going to have a bunch of layers. All right. So layer control is going to be something that you're going to need to pay attention to. You don't want to be losing yourself in the layer stack too much. Okay. The other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be using clipping masks where we're going to take one layer and clip it to the layer below. All right. So we need to track how we organize that as well. Okay. All right. I'm going to create my first group. I'm going to take that color fill. I'm going to take that background, Control G, Command G, or you can just, let's see. Can we group from here? Usually can. All right. Layer. Where is it? Edit group. Yeah, see, I usually do it with the shortcuts. Here I am trying. Oh, I know why. The layer was locked. You got to unlock it in order to group it. Where's my group? Not here. All right. Layer, group layers. Okay. I'm going to rename that, and I usually just use the letters BG for background. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and take my my letter layer, and Control Command J will duplicate it. All right. I'm going to take this bottom layer. Okay. I'm going to hide the top layer, the top letter U. I'm going to now select the bottom one. I'm going to change the color to something a little bit darker. Okay. The only reason I'm doing this is so that it looks different from our top layer. All right. Because what we're going to do is we're going to shift it over ever so slightly, all right, and start creating our drop layer. Now, some of you may say, okay, well, why don't I just go ahead and shift it completely over, all right, to create that drop layer. And my warning will be, it's going to be very dependent on the shape of the letter, okay? Because what you want is you don't want it to look like a drop shadow, okay? So a drop shadow is where you will see like a space, okay? Or let me zoom in here, where you will see this, all right? Where it's kind of a section of this is missing, because this part here should connect, all right? And that should all be filled in, all right? So keep that in mind. All right, let's go back. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift it over just a little bit. All right, make a duplicate, okay? Shift it over a little bit. Make a duplicate and shift it over a little bit. All right, and now when we zoom in close here, you can see how that looks like it's coming straight out from there, right? We're not getting that weird divot. Okay. All right. We're gonna take that that last one that we made, shift click that first one that we made, and we're going to Control Command G, create a group, and that's going to be our 3D FX. Okay, so call it whatever you want, something that makes sense. I'm going to call it 3D FX. Okay, and you'll understand why we group it when we start adding in our selfie. Okay, all right. So here is our top letter, all right, or our main letter, and this is our 3D effect, okay? Now we're ready to start implementing the photo of ourself into this, okay? So we're gonna come back to our other tab, and what I want to do is while we're here, I want to remove the background. So I just go here, remove background, okay? And as you can see, it did a fairly decent job of removing that background, okay? I'm going to go ahead and click on the little icon in my layer, click and drag it to the other tab, all right? And if you press the shift key and drop it, it'll drop it right in the center, all right? But this here, it's giving me a warning. It's saying, hey, look, you know, the image you're putting in here is a much higher quality. It may be a different color space, and it's definitely a much larger size. Do you still want to bring it in? Yes, let's proceed. We'll drop it in, okay? And as you can see, my image is so much larger. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shift and drag these corners in. All right. And now we have to kind of figure out how we want to place this in relationship to the letter. All right. So to make this a little bit easier, I want to be able to see the entire letter form, you know, that's now hidden by my selfie. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give the selfie a little bit of opacity, just so I can see through the my selfie. I can still see myself, but I can now see through it, kind of like a ghost image. So that way, when I move myself around, I can see how it relates to everything else. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So now I can say, well, you know what? I need to scale down a little bit. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and shift click the letters, and I'm going to move it a little bit more into center. All right. Go ahead, click back. And you know what? I'm going to rotate this just a touch. Okay. All right. So what I'm looking for is how does it fit within that light gray shape of the letter? Okay. I'm not too concerned about the dark. All right. Although, well, let me hide myself for a second. You can see that down at the bottom, we're not quite all the way there. So I might need to scale this up just a touch, move this over. All right. Because the other thing is I don't want to cut off my ear a little bit too much. So if we need to, we can use the arrow keys to nudge it. All right, that looks good. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and hit the OK key. Let's see. Now I'm gonna rotate this just a little bit more. See if we can. All right. Okay, that looks good to me. Okay. All right, I'm gonna hit done. And what I want you to pay attention here is that my head is well within this corner, all right? And it kind of breaks out on this side, all right? But it's all kind of within this section and within this section, okay? And of course, I break into this part of the letter, which is okay. This one down here, we'll fix. Okay, we'll fix in a second. Okay. All right. I'm going to bring the opacity back up to 100%. Let's go ahead and zoom in here. Might as well take care of this right now while we have it. All right. And I'm just going to make a selection here. All right. Let's see. We can use probably the patch tool, and let's see. There we go. Well, I'm going to just do this with the patch tool. Oh, it's not letting me go outside. Oh, I have the mask on. All right. Hold on. Control Z, Control D. Let's turn off that mask. All right. And now let's go ahead and expand that down. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Now, when we bring this mask, I can just take my brush. All right. These are little things that you kind of have to keep a lookout for as you work on this. All right, go to my mask, and we'll just bring this back in here. All right, doesn't need to be anything fancy. It's all the way at the bottom. Is it going to be visible? A little bit, maybe. Who knows? Okay, but just in case. All right. All right, the other thing I'm noticing is, the beard, okay? It's a little bit fuzzy looking, okay? We need to kind of fix that up. So if we double click on our mask, all right, it's going to take us here, and let's see if maybe we can fix this with our our mask enhancement tool. Okay, and then we'll just bring some of this back in. Okay, that looks a little bit better. All right, now because I edit a lot of Santa folder photos, I happen to have in my stable a brush. Oops, where is it? Where's my? All right, and we've gone over how to create custom brushes, but if you notice here, I have a Santa beard edges brush. Okay, Santa hair fill and Santa hair edges. Okay, so I can click on that, pick a color, all right, size this up a little bit, and I can fill this in a little bit on the mask, okay, using white as my foreground color. I'm basically just fixing my mask a little bit to give me a more natural fill edge there. Okay. This might be a little bit more advanced for you guys, but just to let you know that things like this are available to you when you put a little bit of creative thought into it. Okay. Let's zoom out. That's looking a lot better. Okay. Now we need to start incorporating this into the letter form. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to clip this to the layer below. Okay. So there's a couple ways you can do this. What we can do is we can go to our properties tab. Okay. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Can't do it with the properties tab. I keep forgetting. We're going to right click. Nope. Yeah, I'm so used to doing the shortcuts when I want to do it the long way. Oh yeah, here we go. So layer, create clipping mask. Okay. Or Alt Control G. All right. Or Command Option G. Or the way that I like to do it, I just press the Alt or Option key, and if you hover in between the two, okay, notice how the icon changes to the square with a drop down arrow. As soon as you click in between those two, it's going to clip that layer to the layer below it. Okay. And you can see it's got the little, oops, it's got that little down arrow. Okay. So Alt or Option, click, and it'll lock it in. Okay. And now we see our first problem. Okay. We see our first problem. And that is contained. Let's see. It is contained within the shape of the letter U. And what we want is we want it to break out of the letter U. Okay? So what we need to do is we need to create a couple more copies. Okay? Because it is contained within that upper layer U, but all the copy of the U's that we made to create that three-dimensional effect, we're going to need a copy of that image for that as well. And as well as for one where we show it breaking out of the letter, okay? So we're gonna need 2 more copies, okay? So I'm gonna select my selfie here, okay? And we're gonna go Control Command J, make a copy. And we're gonna slide that down just above where we had the 3D effect layer. So just above the group that we created, right? And we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to alter option, hover between the two, and we're going to clip it, okay? And now it's being clipped just to that 3D effect, okay? It's being clipped to that dark gray area, okay? See that? All right, and then we have this one that is clipped to the light gray area. And because both images sit right on top of each other, we're going to look at it as a seamless continuation, all right? All right, we're going to need one more image. Control Command J, all right? And this is going to be what we use to break out, all right, of the letter form, all right? And I'm going to, we can leave it here, okay? Or we can drop it below that light gray letter U, okay? It doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter, all right? Because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be masking out a lot of parts, okay? What do we need to mask out? Okay, we need to mask out whatever is outside of that letter U that we don't want popping out. So for example, we have the shoulder here. All right, actually, you know what? Let me make this a little bit easier. All right, I'm going to reduce the opacity on that one just so you see, okay? So we need to mask out this section and we need to mask out this section underneath, all right? So everything for this curve and everything for this curve. Make sense? All right, so make sure you select your mask. I'm going to select a hard round brush. Let's make it a little bit size up. Okay. Black as my foreground color. All right. We're just going to paint all this out. And I'm going to be careful here because I want my arm kind of sticking out there. All right. Everything else we can block out. All right. And that's what our mask looks like. Okay. Everybody follow what I just did? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to bring the opacity back up. And we're almost done. We're almost done. Okay. So what is missing now is what's going to give us the 3D effect. So if you notice, this part of the U and this part of the U is missing or is not visible because it's being hidden by the image that, or the selfie that we put in, which is at the same exposure level as our top layer, okay? So if we look at what we've done, all right, we can consider this our normal exposure, all right? So our normal exposure, all right? And this, which creates our 3D effect, is an under exposure, right? So what do we need to do with this part and this part of the image in order to make it look like it fits in with everything else? We need to create an underexposure. Okay. All right. So we're going to need to insert a curves adjustment somewhere in here. All right. And where do we put it? Well, it has to be above. Where's my? It's got to be above the layer that creates that drop shadow or that 3D layer effect. All right. So it's got to be right above this image that's linked or locked to our 3D effect. Okay. And because this image layer is clipped to the group, we got to make sure that when we insert our adjustment layer, that has to be clipped to that image. Okay. Otherwise, everything goes crazy. So I'm going to select that layer, select my curves adjustment layer. All right. And we're going to take the exposure and I'm just going to drop it down. Oh, see, we're not clipped. All right. So the nice thing is from here, we can actually clip it just with this little icon here. So we click on that and it clips it. And what we want to do is we want to go ahead and give it an underexposure. All right. We might need to go in and change our background color for that group. We'll see. Okay. All right. That looks good. Let's go and tweak a few things. So expand this group. We're going to take these three. All right. And let's see. Click on the text and let's go and make those a little bit brighter. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, I'm using gray. That's my thing, as you can tell. But you can very easily use whatever color you want. If you want to use something that contrasts, all right, you can use something that, kind of coordinates with it. It's entirely up to you. Oh, actually, that doesn't look too bad with the blue. Might be a little bit too much blue. Okay. But the options are there for you for whatever you want to do. Okay. All right. We're just going to keep it to very monochromatic. All right. And that's pretty much it. As you can see, it's fairly simple to do. You have all the tools needed to create this. All right. The only thing that you need to do, like I said, is kind of keep in mind that you have to keep an eye on your layers. Okay. Actually, now that I'm thinking of this, I might add one more layer. I'm going to add it between, let's see. I think I'll add it between where's my, oh yeah, hold on. Here we go. I'm going to add it between my top image layer and my top text layer. Okay. So I'm going to create a new blank layer. Right. I'm going to get myself a nice large soft round brush. All right. I'm going to pick this color. All right. But what I want to do is I want to darken that up just a touch. And I'm just going to place a little bit of a kind of like a gradient behind there so that it grades down just a little bit. I think that would probably look a little bit better. What do you think? I like that. Let me hide myself. See what I mean? Okay. All right. Let's go back. Now, the other thing I can do is I can take all of that, everything that creates that letter form. All right, make sure I don't have my background. I'm going to go Control G to create a group. I'll call that 3D letter. All right. And I'm going to double click, bring this up, and see if I can add a drop shadow. All right. So we're going to take that drop shadow. Oh, make sure my drop shadow is selected. We're going to make the opacity a little bit lighter. The size a little bit softer. Just a hint. Okay, there we go. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty much it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do one more thing. Since we're at it. I'm going to go to my 3D effects. Okay. Right above it, I'm going to insert another blank. I'm going to come back to my nice large, and I'm going to just add a little bit. I'm going to pick a nice dark color, and we're going to just add a little bit of a dimensional gradient there as well. Okay. Now I'm happy with that. There we go. You can then now export it, create yourself a little avatar, you know, put it on your website, put it on your social media, use it for your Instagram, whatever you want to do. Any questions? Come on, somebody's got to have some questions. Any? No, nothing?
Quiet crowd here.
Very quiet. I think, wake up. I think everybody's sleeping. All right.
You know what, we had, I'm going on vacation next week, and we had a guy who used to zone out before he went on vacation. His name was Carter Mann, and so we used to call this zoning out thing before vacation Carter Mann syndrome.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mode, and even retirement, I get that way.
Yeah, yeah. I hear you. But anyway, hopefully you guys found this fun and interesting, something a little bit, you know.
I like a logo like that. That looks good.
Yeah. You know, it's something a little different. I figure, Brian, you know, this is something that you could also, now that you know how to do this, incorporate it into some of your clients' websites, you know, to create something.
Oh, that would be great for a website.
Hell yeah. You know,
Avatar, both an avatar and part of the logo.
Yep. So this is on a blue background. It can very easily be on a transparent black background, you know,
Yes.
and save it as a PNG, and you can drop it anywhere in a website and it'll pick up whatever the background is, you know.
Are you going to use this, Doc? You should.
Yeah, I think I'm going to post this on my Facebook page.
Okay.
I kind of like it. It's interesting.
Yeah, you know, lately I've been seeing a lot of these things come by my Facebook feed where they're doing something like this with a letter and an image, and
But you know that they're click, 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 and they're done in about 18 or 19 seconds. You go,
Oh, of
oh,
course. Of course.
neat.
Well, all right. And to be honest, uh, if it wasn't for me rambling on about how to do this, it really is that simple. You could get it done in 10 minutes. You know, I think the longest amount of time that you would need to put into this is the photography. You know, making sure that your selfie fits the concept or fits the letter form. You know, so you need to do a little bit of homework before you put this together. You know, figure out what letter you're going to use. Like do what I did, open it up and with a small brush. Ooh, Charlie horse.
I hate that.
Oh, that came out of nowhere. Oh, wow. Okay. As I was saying, just open up the letter form and with a brush, just draw the concept. All right. Because once you see your chicken scratches, it doesn't have to be fancy. A circle for a head, a square for a body. Once you start seeing the chicken scratches in relation to the letter that you want to use, it gives you a clear idea of how to pose yourself when you take your selfie. All right. And just like I pointed out, I realized that, if I just stood up straight, little parts of me would stick out a little bit too far. And if you lean, all right, or in this case, if you lean, it makes it look a little bit better. Should I have leaned a lot more after doing this project? Yeah, I probably could have done a more extreme lean over, okay, and probably tucked the camera a little bit more underneath me so it doesn't break out as much, and it probably would have been a much better one, okay? I still got the camera set up, so I might do it. Who knows? All right, but anyway, that's the project for you guys. I hope you found it interesting. Let me know if you want me to, do more stuff like this and have some fun. Okay.
As I look at it, it would be interesting. I keep thinking for you, but my initials are BT, and that's sort of my. So then you get a different concept with 2 letters, but then you start thinking about the way Escher did stuff with angles and corners, and you're sticking out of one, but maybe popping back in another one.
Hey, you can get. I just came up with a crazy idea. File, new. Let's go 2000 white, create. Okay. probably like me for this one. All right. So the letter B. All right. And the letter T tucked in so that, right? Okay. Now, let me find a different color. I'll do the red again. Okay, just contrast. Okay. Now picture yourself reclining. All right. So now you're switch to red. Your head's here. Your arm. You're reclining. All right. And then from here, are your feet. What do you think? That'll be a challenge. I think that would be hilarious. But get creative and just come up with some crazy concepts. Okay. So anyway, let's see. All right, guys, that's pretty much what I got for you. It's a short episode. We're not stretching it to 2 hours. We're at about an hour and a half, so that's not too bad. Okay. Next week is Thanksgiving. Is it next week? Next week?
Next week's Thanksgiving.
Next week's Thanksgiving. So you guys have yourself a great Thanksgiving day. I don't think we have. Where's my calendar? We don't have another episode next week, do we?
No, this was it.
This was it. Okay.
I can't believe I can't believe.
Yeah, time flies fast. All right. So have yourself a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you in December.
Yes.
You know?
Have a good one.
All right. If anybody has any questions about anything we covered, you know how to reach me. Email, telephone, Facebook, whatever. All right.
Good.
Stay safe. Catch you next time.
Good one. Okay, bye. Bye.
Thank you for watching Learning Photography with Duck. Brought to you in association with Milford Photo, your local full-service camera store. Located in downtown Milford, Connecticut, Milford Photo offers you a personalized shopping experience. From the latest camera gear to printing and framing services. And, of course, educational workshops to teach you the finer aspects of photography. Don't forget to tell them Duck sent you.